Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, please by name is AFTERBIRTH Plus, where we've actually started to piece together the mustachioed lore of the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. 5 wins in a row, which might be, I mean, we did lose one semi-recently, but that was because I was a fool and decided to kill Hush. And did, but then died later. Judas, weirdly enough, I think we've done like the most runs as Judas, but he still needs the most. F446 SS3S. Very, very strange seed. It's the kind of seed that really makes you think there's an eldritch machination at work. Sometimes I didn't even think about that. Even as I was shooting, I was like, is this dangerous? And only after like 0.83 seconds, which is a long time in this line of work, did my brain send the message that was like, yeah, that's dangerous, back the F up. Sometimes I just challenge myself to say the most Darkest Dungeon-esque phrase possible. Eldritch machinations. Machinations, mashed potatoes, ex machina, Deus Ex. You guys excited for Cyberpunk 2077? I still haven't watched the gameplay demo. I should, because as much as I'm like a radical, almost like a Luddite when it comes to games. Oh, new game? That's cute. I'll be playing the 2018 F1 game if you don't mind. They recently added more turns. You know, there's like one game per year that the entire industry rallies around. I feel like 2018 so far has had two. We had God of War, which seems like universally agreed upon as a genuine masterpiece. And even, like, I'm probably on the low side of my opinion of God of War relative to the average, and even still, I'm like, yeah, it might be Game of the Year. And then, Spider-Man. Because, like, the whole industry seems like it got together and was like, we're gonna all love Spider-Man. I'm not saying it's wrong. Like, I'm not cynically saying that it's like a conspiracy or, like, you know, I'm just saying it's hype. It might be Red Dead Redemption, too. This could be the rare 3-year sort of circumstance. But Cyberpunk, you know, most of the time, you know, people don't get excited about a game that might be like 3 years out. This is not an XL floor. That's blowing my mind. So yeah, I'll give it. I mean, I trust CD Projekt Red. Maybe there's a conversation be had about the way that they, you know, treat their workers, but at the same time, you know, you ever find like it's exhausting to be a consumer in the modern era? I'm not even saying we should opt out of the consideration of, like, you know, the well-being of the people who made this being important. You're talking to a guy who buys free-range eggs, okay? I guess we'll take it. Yes, they're more expensive than regular eggs. Or maybe I shouldn't even be calling them regular eggs. I'll call them caged eggs. But, you know, I'll admit when I was 17, 18, 19, go to the grocery store, I'm like, I'm not paying an extra $1.50 for 12 eggs just because they, you know, got to roam around on a pasture. Now as an adult, all I can think about is these, like, living creatures spending their lives inside of a, you know, 1 foot by 1 foot box just clucking around all the time. Come on, Google DeepMind. That was, I said clucking. Clucking! And I'm like, sure, I'll pay $1 to assuage my guilt, even though I can't really tell if it's having a meaningful impact one way or the other. But it's hard, man. I tell this story all the time, but it's such a good distillation of what it's like to buy something in 2018. Where I was like, you know, 2 years ago, I was like, I buy a lot of sparkling water. People were like, that's wasteful. Buy a soda stream and make your own sparkling water instead. And I was like, you know what? That seems like a good idea. And then people were like, oh, buy a soda stream? Do you hate Palestine? Do you know it's run by a company that also makes, like, you know, Israeli bombs? And I'm like, well, I did not know that. When I went to the London Drugs to pick up a soda stream, they didn't say, hey, by the way, if you buy this, you're tacitly supporting, like, you know, war crimes in the West Bank or something like that. I don't even know, is the thing. I'm just talking out of my butt. It's out of control, man. It's almost like every single product we buy is like it hinges on the suffering of someone else. Either that or you're like $60 for a t-shirt. I don't think so. Well, anyway, it's a very gloomy start to today's episode. It is raining out, but dude, I'm happy. Genuinely happy. I know I talk about Vancouver a lot. I love the city. It has major problems. Mostly with affordability, mental illness, homelessness. Those are the big ones. A lot of cities have those same problems, I'll admit, but I love the climate, dude. Like, when it's the summertime, I'm like, oh my god, it's the summertime. It's not raining anymore. This is awesome. Then in the fall, I'm like, oh my god, it's raining. This is amazing. I missed you, you know? And then it's, like, Vancouver only has 2 seasons. Summer, and then rain. And that's okay. It means there's no snow. You fool. Might snow once or twice a year maximum, but the first 3 years I lived here, it did not snow at all. Any of the years. It's nice, honestly. I know if you live on the East Coast right now, I talk about this because, you know, there's games industry folk tend to live on the West Coast. There's a lot of San Francisco, LA, you know, Seattle, Redmond, Everett, Novato. Some on the East Coast, but still. Dude, why we have the worst floor layouts here? This is freaking me out. It's like a conspiratorial. Where's my item rooms at? And many of them are expats who have, or not expats, but transplants who have moved from the East Coast to the West Coast. And sometimes they're like, man, I kind of miss winter. I'm like, really? Okay, why don't you fly back to Maryland in February and tell me how much you miss winter? I thought I missed winter until I went to my first PAX East. Left, you know, like 10 degrees Celsius, arrived in Boston in a blizzard, and went, oh, right, this sucks. This is actually, like, terrible. Wake up every morning, oh, I hope it didn't snow last night so I don't have to start my day with, you know, the physical labor of shoveling my driveway, getting my car out of the spot, starting it for 5 minutes, burning gas for no reason just to make sure it warms up enough that my hands don't freeze to the steering wheel. Linger bean. Not particularly strong. This run's weird right now. Like, it feels like it should be better than it is. Then I am only saying this because, you know, we have people come to Vancouver, and you're not going to believe me, but they always fire the first shot. They're always like, how do you live here with all the rain? I'm like, how do you live in Connecticut where literally it's like a Mario Kart course driving on the highway 4 or 5 months out of the year? I live that lifestyle. I don't want to go back. That being said, you can't move here. It's already too expensive. We have too many people. It's like it's too desirable. That's part of the problem. You know what? Let's try this. We are snobs, though. When people make fun of the West Coast, they make fun of it for snobbery, and I'm like, you're right. I can't deny that. I mean, I don't even have, like, a bit to go along with this. Just full stop. That's pretty much where it ends. Okay. But I think that it's not just West Coast. And I'm speaking specifically to North America. So this is, if you're from another part of the world, this is a bit of an insular topic, I guess, but to some extent. But, it's cities in general. You know, I notice it when I talk to Rob. We're both snobs. He's like, oh, blah, 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 pizza. And I'm like, blah, 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 sushi. And he's like, blah, 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 industry. And I'm like, blah, 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 the ocean. I think everybody's probably like, if you live in Europe, you're a snob for some reason. Like, if you live in Switzerland, you're like, blah, 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 the Alps. You live in Norway, you're like, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's many things, but... Blah, 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 blah. The government pays for everything via its incredibly forward-thinking taxes that support all classes of society. But in Sweden, they're like, blah, 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 Peter Forsberg. I'm just trying to do, like, one video where I offend absolutely everybody on planet Earth, if possible. So I'm gonna rank the countries on Earth based on my... No, let's not do that. I'm gonna offend like 211 countries on Earth because I'm gonna be like Canada, #1, obviously. Dude, I want to go into this curse room. I'm getting tired of the current state of the mediocrity of this run. It's not bad, it's just mediocre. Like, we've had a tiers upgrade via a pill. We have admittedly, we're gonna have a lot of money. That purchasing power could be worth a lot for us, but... You know what I would do? If you wanted to make people as angry as possible, I would rank every country whose cuisine I've interfaced with based on my enjoyment of the cuisine. I know it would lead to some... I mean, it's just one man's opinion in the first place, but it would lead to some, like, incredible salt, I'm sure. I gotta be honest with you. In the cuisine rankings, Canada would not be that high. There is Canadian cuisine. Sometimes Canadians get a little protective of it, but it's very minor. Like, compared to our neighbors down south. We got butter tarts, which are like a special dessert. It's just a tart. I don't know why it's called a butter tart, because the filling is like brown. And every baked good on planet Earth uses butter. It's just it's like, why is it called a hamburger when it uses beef, right? Was it invented in Hamburg? I don't know. Oh my god. Nanaimo bars may have been invented in British Columbia. Another dessert item. But that's like, Kate, in Canadian cuisine, we have like 4 dishes that are Canadian only. There's like Nanaimo bars, butter tarts, poutine, meat pies, but even meat pies are like, you know, of European origin, I think. I don't know if mac and cheese originated in Canada. Yeah, I think we might eat the most, or it might just be popularized here for whatever reason. Let's double up on this. Dude, I'm kind of tempted to take magic fingers. You know, I'm a little mad that we actually lost so much speed from this, because we did get a speed upgrade. And we were capped at 150, so I was like, I thought we were good. And then there's like indigenous food, like bannock and stuff like that, but it's not really commonly consumed. As in, I have, like, never seen it except on, like, a field trip. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it doesn't exist in, you know, my purview, I suppose. So I gotta say, like, Canadian cuisine, you're not missing much. What's the benefit of Canadian cuisine? Oh, yeah, there's other stuff. Like, I'm pretty much ignoring, like, the maritime provinces completely. And sure, there's that Alberta beef. I'll give you that. However, I would rank us, you know, relatively low, I think. I mean, there's heavyweights, you know? There's, like, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, French, Italian. Probably a few others that I'm leaving out right now where you're like, man, that's just, like... You can't go up again. Those are, like, S-tier cuisines. Thai, Cambodian, etc., etc. At least for me, personally. Dude, can you stop firing so many bombs? It's getting a little ridiculous. I think you gotta put American cuisine up there, if, you know, for nothing else out of the respect for the sheer volume. Best country on earth at combining foods, no question about it. And you're gonna think that's an insult. I don't mean it as an insult whatsoever. You know, what if a bun was also chicken? I'm down with that. I'm putting you in the S tier, okay? I'd get in trouble though. There's a lot of countries to whose cuisine, I don't know if that is how you use the English language, but to whose cuisine I'm just ignorant, you know? Like, where are you gonna rank, like, Liechtenstein? I don't know. I'm assuming it's pretty similar to Western European cuisine. I don't know where I'll admit to you, look, I know more geography than your average North American, and that's not even close to being a lie. And it's all thanks to Paradox Development Studios, Crusader Kings, as well as Europa Universalis. However, even I don't know where Liechtenstein is. Luxembourg is as small as I get, okay? After that, here's the thing. Most of the time I'll say, like, you know, odds are we probably have a viewer from Liechtenstein. Nah, I don't think so. There might be like 2 people from Luxembourg watching this video, in which case, hello, hallo, bonjour. From Liechtenstein, I don't think so. I'd be surprised. You know what? I gotta figure out where it is on the map. Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein. It's an administrative region in Baden-Württemberg, Germany. It lies at the foot of the Swabian Jura. I could have freaking told you that. Is it Liechtenstein is completely landlocked within within Germany? I should have known that. I mean, that's pretty noteworthy. No, it's bordered by Switzerland to the west and south, and Austria to the east and north. It has an area of just over 160 square kilometers. Oh my lord. I'm not making fun of you, okay? If you are from Liechtenstein. And I'm being sincere. Like, my country's big, so what? You know, we get made fun of. It's big, but it's like... much of it is uninhabited, and it's cold. Most of it, at least, is cold. So I'm not gonna, you know, punch down at any other country just because it's smaller. I mean, who cares? I mean, in European history... Dude, I don't know. I think we're just gonna leave, but this run's very strange. In European history, like, if you wanted a piece of Western Europe, you had to fight. That's valuable land. You know, people have been living there and engaging in warfare there for, like, you know, a couple of thousand years, more or less. At least in recorded history. More power to you, Liechtenstein. If anything, to be a small country is kind of impressive. That you could, like, I don't know the history of Liechtenstein, but the fact that you could, like, you know, be near France and, you know, Germany and what was previously Prussia and, you know, Austria and still have, like, some independence, that's pretty wild. I think. I don't know. Again, I'm pretty much talking out of my butt here. I haven't said anything of substance over the course of this entire episode so far. So all these questions, this is why I like history again. And I said it maybe a month ago, but, like, one of the reasons I like history is because it illuminates, you know, why the world is the way it is today. Even if you go as far back, you know, a great example is the Battle of Hastings. People who don't like history always use it as an example of, like, you know, oh, why do I have to know the year that the Battle of Hastings took place? To be fair, it might not be the most important thing for you to know the year that the Battle of Hastings took place, but that, if you trace, like, a lineage, you know, this duke wasn't France, but he was French, you get the idea, you know, in Normandy, went to England and was like, hey, get out of here, Norway, get out of here, England, this is mine now. Sets the stage for the history of England. The history of England very much informs the history of many countries on Earth, at least from that point onwards, you know. Canada, the United States, Ireland, Scotland, France, thanks to the 100 Years' War, India, etc., etc. They're like a major player on the world stage. I'm going to just double up on that. I should buy a key as well, just to be safe. That's why I should learn more about history, so I can answer questions like there's one question I can't answer. All I can do is get mad. And there's twofold, okay? One of them, we can do this, right? Love it. That turned out so well. One question that comes up now and then is like, why doesn't Canada just have Alaska? And I know that there was, like, you know, the worst trade deal in the history of deals ever. Like, Alaska was sold to the United States for, you know, a bag of Planters, peanuts, and a smile back in the 1800s. But, like, I don't have a good answer for that. Nor do I have a good answer for why, like, the United States didn't take over Canada. I'm aware of the War of 1812. I have, you know, fierce Canadian pride. Now when people are like, why didn't we just take you over? I'm like, you do, it would be like Vietnam 4.0. There'd be people sitting in igloos ready to pop you as soon as you came across the 5440. But, anyway, when you think back to, like, the, you know, late 1700s, 1800s, you're kind of like, you know, I could see him trying it. I don't know. It's probably just it's not a period of history that gets covered in hardcore history that much, so unfortunately I have no ability to learn about it, apparently. Crack this open. Let's go. Can I want to relay to you a frustrating, not really frustrating, let's call it an illuminating anecdote for my day today. It's Monday, and you're going to be like, Monday what? July something? No, dude, it's September. There's like no backlog here, because PAX, day off, lots of videos, lots of streams, and also like a little bit of reduced productivity due to illness, but, you know, I'll be the dude who says it, okay? Watching some footage of the Call of Duty Battle Royale. And if you don't like Battle Royales, how do you know someone doesn't like Battle Royales? Although they'll tell you. That's right, I'm using your own vegetarian joke against you. How does that... Ooh, I don't like Battle Royales. I prefer, You know, I don't want to say anything here because it'll seem like if I was like, I prefer sports games, it's like, why are you insulting Rob? Or I prefer... clickers. Why are you insulting Nick? Okay, fair enough, you know, I'm not trying to go down that road. I'm just saying, anytime you see someone playing a Battle Royale in chat, when will Battle Royales die? I can't wait to go back to the era of every big game being a two-dimensional platformer starring an Italian plumber. Alright, so now that we've gotten that all out of the way, if you like Battle Royales, it looks like PUBG, but made by a studio that's competent. We've already killed Mom with the Bible, so I think that this is our better option here. I'm not donating the money, dude. I need the money for Magic Fingers. And Austin, to his credit, when I was talking to him in the Team Unity sub chat, he was like, you guys want to get some Team Unity together on Friday to play the PC beta? And I said, no, I have class, which is true. Not like I have school, but I have too much class to play Call of Duty on the internet for strangers. No, I have class. It's like a Rodney Dangerfield joke. Anyway. Well, you're like a middle school in August, no class. Then he said, and I'm of no fault of his own, you know, you can live by the values you want to live with. He said, are you going to be in school for the rest of your life without missing a beat? I turned to him and I said, hopefully. And by turn to him, I mean, I at Last Grey Wolf in Discord and said, hopefully. Dude, I don't want to do boss rush on this run. And you know what? Make me blue, baby. I'm ready. I don't want to do boss rush on this run. And I think I have like a great excuse not to do boss rush on this run because it's kind of horrible. And also we're blue baby now. So just to get a win out of this would be worth it. You know, when I think about, like, you know, myself in my 50s and 60s, I do sort of see myself in school. At that point, I will have mastered computer programming, probably be like a billionaire, invent some kind of, you know, $12 billion app like, you know, hey, if you put in a picture of your dog, it puts a filter on it to show you what your dog would look like if it was a person. And you're like, oh, how much is your company worth? Like 75? No, it's $100 billion. It's worth $100 billion. It's called Dog Man. It doesn't even do anything with a photo of your dog. It just literally, we put in a photo of your dog, and then Google searches Creative Commons photographs of people, and is like, yeah, this will be your dog if they were a human being. $1 billion evaluation right there. Anyway, I kind of look at it as, you know, keep your mind sharp, you know? I think keeping your mind sharp is valuable. I was never one of those people. I had friends like this in high school that were like, man, once I get this 4 years done, I'm out. I never have to go to school again. I understand. School is not for everybody. Everybody's different. And I don't think it's fair to be like, you know, just learn, lol. You know, not everybody's into that sort of lifestyle. Really, I'm like a nerd. I wanna fly away. I don't know where the sign is. I don't know where the coast is. We're gonna die. By the way, very deserved run to die on, but we're gonna try to make it work regardless. No? 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 Like, I'm really lucky that I was born in, like, you know, an era where school was valuable. Because if I was born in an era where it was like, you know, you're basically, your value to society, which, you know, as a YouTuber is obviously extremely high. But if I was born in an era where it was like, hey, your value to our community is basically like, you know, how much yield you can get by tilling the fields, I would be screwed. I would be like, I'd be the guy like, I know you guys are working hard in the fields right now, but I've analyzed your process and I figured out there's a 3% inefficiency here. I would be killed and eaten. My skin would be turned into a saddle for a more valuable creature to provide some utility to the farm. But I always, you know, my grandparents,
Puberty.
On my mom's side, like they always, they did like classes and stuff as they were getting older, and I always thought that was admirable. They weren't like, you know, nursing, but they were like, oh, my grandfather took like electrical engineering courses. Dude, that's so helpful here. As an adult and into senior citizenhood, which is, I think, pretty admirable to start something that ambitious that late. And my grandma was like, I always wanted to learn how to paint, so she started taking painting classes. I think that's cool, man. I don't see life like it's an RPG, I guess, where it's like, hey man, you gotta fight the final boss soon, you've leveled up enough. I'm like, dude, I see real life in the opposite way that I play RPGs. Like in RPGs, I just mainline the story as quickly as possible, and in real life, I'm like, I'm not ready. I need to upgrade my fishing stat by 1. But I think it's better that way than it is the other way. Oh my god. So this is one of those runs where I almost get suspicious that I've made some kind of colossal strategic mistake, because it's going relatively quickly, but our stats are pretty bad, and it really, for a run to kind of maintain this level of mediocrity, makes me think that we have screwed it up somewhere down the line. Like, we had the option to take Brimstone and just, like, didn't step on it or something like that. Something at that level. So that was just the tractor beam screwed me on that one. We need to get that tractor enemy killed as soon as possible. I guess what I will say is, you know, I didn't have the same scholastic experience as Austin. We went to different schools, you know, maybe different philosophies, I don't know, but I'm kind of like, I don't resonate with the idea that, you know, school is like promotes conformity or something like that. But I don't know, maybe it's different in different parts of the world. I thought school was cool. Can you just please, like, jump over into this area right here? This should not take us this long to kill Skolex. I'm like, deal with the devil, Dark Judas. Give me my second transformation, give me some damage, or take me the heck out. Bless you. That's right, I heard it. Please. Oh my lord. You know, I don't want to slip into that negativity, but I'm like 5.35 damage with an 8 rate of fire. Oh, NL, that's really good. Yeah, for an Eden start. Oh, you're on the womb 2, my mistake. That's terrible. Yeah, it's pretty not good. Thank you for, you know, with context, agreeing with me in this situation, which I think is doubtlessly true. It's especially funny because we were Judas. I don't know if that was, by the way, an accident, but after I placed the bomb, I was like, well, it could be the secret room. Why not, I guess. I will take Bob's Rotten Head. To be honest with you, I'm really hoping we get, like, Cricket's Head out of one of these, and it did not work out like that, but that's okay. Thank you, Dark Bum. This is like, it's one notch above Trainwreck. And we're lucky, because, like, one notch above Trainwreck is just mildly bad. It's like a logarithmic scale. If you got a pH of 2, you're in Trainwreck. pH of 3, you're just mildly annoyed. So I think we're pretty lucky with the way things are working out here. Were it not for, you know, Parasitoid Tears and probably Dark Bum, be a little bit perturbed. I'm glad we traded. Basically traded like Judas to become Blue Baby and get Dark Bum. But we also lost our second level cube of meat, which is completely fine. But man, We're not going to fight Hush. We're probably going to make it in time. Although, maybe not. We'll see. We're not going to fight Hush. If we get the option, we're definitely not going to do Delirium unless something goes, like, terribly right. And I mean, it illustrates the usefulness of black powder, but simultaneous... Oh my god. Thank you, thank you. It illustrates the usefulness of black powder, but simultaneously is like... You know, if your run is so good that black powder seems good, your run is bad, I think is what... Or you have 2 speed, which is also pretty fair, but... You know, we have 1.43 speed, and we're going through these situations like, dude, get black powder down. That's your best damage dealer. And it is, more or less. That and the occasional parasitoid tier. Excuse me? He's done it. Luck down. I don't really care. Because we don't have the chest unlocked yet, like a luck down means... Oh my lord. You know, that would be a very impressive shot if there had been an enemy there. That was a low percentage yield. Ooh. I want that card. Emperor, please. World is good too. We'll use it on the cathedral. Should we live that long? I don't know. I just don't see myself like on my deathbed. They're gonna be like, any regrets? You're gonna be like, yeah. Wish I didn't learn so much. I could have spent that time doing something else instead. I wasn't gonna say playing World of Warcraft, okay? You're putting words in my mouth. Hey. I brought it up on the, I'm very cognizant of, like, these, bad opinions that I have that sometimes make it seem like I'm willfully becoming 95 years old, despite not even being in my 30s yet. But I brought it up on the show, and it was kind of glossed over, and I was like, you know what, that's fair, because this is not the kind of thing that needs to be talked about in the LSS, but... Do you ever worry that the fact that, like, everything in our lives has been gamified for our generation will lead to us not having, like, any intrinsic reward for doing a duty that needs to be done? Let me give you an example. You ever hear of something called Chore Wars? It's a cool little, I don't know what you'd call it, application, maybe? And what it does, you know, it puts a veneer of a role-playing game on top of the chores that you and your, you know, roommates or your, you know, a spouse or whoever you live with need to do. So, you know, you start as like a level 1, and then, you know, by doing the dishes, you get experience points, and the experience points let you, you know, level up your character. You get the idea. You don't get better at doing the dishes the more you do them in the game, but in real life you probably do, I guess, although it's kind of a static skill. That stuff's really cool. It motivates you to do the dishes more, at least for a while, until you're like, well, I'm basically subjecting myself to this, so I don't need to do it. Not fighting Hush. Get me out of here. But do you ever think, like, maybe, and I'm not a scientist, I'm not a behavioral therapist, I'm not a psychologist, I don't know how this stuff manifests, maybe it doesn't manifest at all, but I always wonder that, like, if we raise a generation to be like, hey, do the dishes, you'll get experience points. When they turn... you know, 25 and they're living out on their own. 25, what do you think? Is it 1992? Alright, when they turn 34 and they're living on their own, they're gonna be like, I'm not gonna do the dishes. I'm already level 99. Or like, you know, I'm not gonna do the dishes, I'm not getting any experience points for it. It's something that I've struggled with, you know? I mean, when you're a kid, you gotta kind of bargain. My parents bargain with me all the time. They're like, hey, do this, we'll buy you like a Nintendo Power. I'm like, okay. And then when I moved out into my university household, I didn't do as many chores as I should. And I had the old school gamification. The only reason I did chores was to avoid, you know, feeling the shame of my fellow housemates. Now, mind you, we were all 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, so nobody was going around like, hey, we need to dust, but still. I do sort of think about it sometimes, you know? Like, there's a great app. It's called Strava, and it tracks your, you know, runs or bikes, what do you, I don't know what you call them, your cycling trips, and then it gives you like, hey, your split during this section was good enough to earn a gold medal relative to the people that, you know, did the race at the same time, and then, oh, you won King of the Mountain for this section for this month, and I'm like, dude, that's cool, but like, simultaneously, I also wonder, like, if a giant solar flare hit planet Earth, the people would be like, well, I don't want to be fit anymore to outrun the freakers, because nobody's gonna be like, you're getting King of the Mountain. I don't know, I'm approaching I'm flirting with this idea of like an ascetic lifestyle that is really insufferable, where it's like, you know, the only reward that you need for hard work is the dignity of a job well done, and I realize that nobody wants to hear it because it sounds like you're a big doo-doo head. Well, that and like the financial recompense for doing your, you know, vocation, but anyway. See, I don't sanitize my opinions for YouTube. These are my genuine bad opinions, and I'm bringing them up to you. And that's why you should really cherish these, like, long and low-damage Isaac runs when they happen, because it's like, that's where I run out of opinions that are objectively good, and I have to start being like, you know, come on, broccoli, cauliflower, just pick one and make the other one go into extinction. I mean, you don't need both broccoli and cauliflower. It's a palette swap. I know nobody's making broccoli mashed potatoes for keto, but still. You get what I'm saying. Now, this should be our final fight. We should accomplish something on... no, because it's Blue Baby's posting now. Okay, well, that's actually fine by me. Because it means we can do another run as Judas, a character who I mean, I like Blue Baby well enough. I used to hate him when I thought that HP was the be-all, end-all in this game. I'm here to tell you, by the way, we didn't play 100% like perfect on this run. This is not like, you know, a flu game situation. But we played pretty well when you consider the circumstances on this run and our fairly awful stats coming closer to the end of the game here. So I'm not going to look at this one as like a failure at all. This one is a big success. If I'd fought Hush or Boss Rush, I certainly would have died, I think. I mean, you could just look at the time to kill on this Isaac fight versus the average Isaac fight. We're probably like 3 times slower than average. And that's a number that I think is sincere. I think we have to work 3 times harder to do the same amount of damage we do on an average run. At least an average run for us. And I put that in there not because I think I'm better than anybody else, but because people seem to think that I get better items than other people, so... because of the incredible bounty I statistically improbably continue to get that couldn't possibly due to observer bias. Anyway, take me out of this cursed run. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have been... No. I mean, it's fine. I'll do it. We might as well take these items just so we, even though I kind of hate Stompy, it doesn't do anything bad for us on this floor. We'll take them so we don't have to not take them in the future, you know? What does that mean? What I mean by that, and I understand why you wouldn't understand because it wasn't really English. If we take them now... we've knocked them off of the collectible sheet, so we no longer need to take them in the future. But we probably will, because I'll invoke the exact same logic, forgetting that I've picked up these specific items, potentially. Well, it's a great run for Blue Baby if we manage to win. We did get Dogtooth, so I'm, like, contented. We got a damage upgrade. Damage is still pretty bad. Demon Hearts are coming fast and furious. Dude, I hate a Curse of the Blind. I also will admit, though it bums me out, we might have been better off, I don't know, without Dark Bum we might have lost, but we might have been better off if we had Unicorn Horn keeping our cube of meat. Although it's only once every 6 rooms, so I think I'm getting a little too needlessly academic. My theory crafting is bad. Because the thing is, cube of meat actually, like, does good damage with Unicorn Horn. With any... Well, it does good damage, and then invincibility protects us. I'm just hoping we are on the right path to get to this boss fight. Otherwise, we could be here for like 12 minutes, realistically. That was extremely lucky, but also very good. What? 5 shots? I thought you were a 3-shot man. I'm just being honest. No. I gotta admit, these are the kind of runs where you look at this game and you go, you know, I thought we were friends, but apparently not. It's the kind of run where you're like, really? 7 rate of fire, 6 damage on the chest? And a full health pill we can't even use? Well, you can't really be mad about that. I mean, we did choose to become Blue Baby. Please. It's just like a single black powder could possibly kill all of the enemies here. Good lord. Well, I wouldn't have expected this to be our best chance at our first Blue Baby kill, and yet here we are. Oh, no. Like, maybe, maybe Mom's bra is better than Unicorn Horn, but I have a hard time going down that road. More parasitoid tears, please. Thank you. Thank you. Free me. I don't want to use Unicorn Horn right now, because, like, there's a few rooms on the chest. Really thought that would get black powder. There's a few rooms on the chest that are truly heinous, okay? You know what they are. Double cage, double gate, maybe Gertie Juniors. They're nasty. These are not that bad. Yo, any room where 2 bombs can kind of sort you out, you gotta feel like that's pretty decent. They all jumped at exactly the right time to get away. That's just incredible. I'm not even mad. If we can make it through this run, we got a good Isaac head on our shoulders. Even this room can be kind of bad. You know what? I think I'm gonna take him up on it. The idea here is that maybe it's a pseudo waste of our invincibility, but it could also get us a lot of demon hearts. I think that was worth it. Like, we use invincibility on rooms where there's a lot of enemies, or on rooms where the enemies are very annoying. And now, all I'm asking you for is, oh my god, is like a single item. Doesn't even have to be good, it just has to inspire hope. We could be hit a lot here. They're also flying, so they take no damage. That was bad. They take no damage from black powder. It was really just like parasitoid tears, and maybe I could get them to blast themselves. You lived, huh? Okay. We got a demon heart out of him. We got 2 demon hearts. Somebody up there is watching and liking what they see. Okay, cool. Double adversary room. Not nearly as bad as double, what are these? I forget what these guys are called. Either way, not nearly as bad as double adversary room, but still pretty annoying. But you just dodged right into it. That's my bad. See if you can just get a little bit of poison on them, you know, so you can have the chance to get a refund. I'm losing steam on this one. A 44-minute Isaac run with no boss rush, hush, delirium, etc., etc. It's like a slap in the face. I don't know how many more dead ends I've got in me as a human being. I beg you, turn towards the light. Come this way. You know what? I can use this little period here for administrative bones to pick. I recently, this is like letters to the editor section, I guess. I recently had mentioned that I think that Aerosmith does not belong in the pantheon of classic rock. I received some messages from people that were like, I mean, largely, to be honest, I don't want to frame it like I've been unfairly maligned or persecuted. Largely, people were like, I mostly agree with you. But I did get a couple of tweets that are like, look, I don't like Aerosmith that much, but you gotta respect Don't Want to Miss a Thing. And I feel the need to bring up that, no, I don't, because that song is very bad. So that's the first administrative note. I don't have a bit. It's just like, it's one of those songs where, like, at the time, I felt like everybody was like, this song's kind of bad, and so is Armageddon. But over time, if you were like 4 when it came out, you're like, that's a classic. I'm here to tell you from somebody that was 12 or 11 when that came out, not a classic. You're okay to dislike it. Same with like, you know, Owl City, Fireflies, Plain White Tees, Delilah. If you're falsely under the impression that, you know, when those came out, people were like, oh, this is a great song. You're freed. You're freed from your false pretense. I hated them when they came out. I can't speak for the Billboard Hot 200, you know. I don't remember. Just because it was popular, you know, 15 years ago doesn't mean it was liked, you know. There's been snobs forever. Please, please. I had to scratch my nose a little bit there. I mean, I'm a little bit under the weather here. To have a run with this level of indignity is a little outrageous. What did I tell you? 12 minutes. How long have we been here? It's probably been like 8. We still don't even know where the heck we're going. I had to hit absolutely every enemy there to try to make sure we got maximum Demon Heart chance. Thank God. We got 2 out of it, which is very good. You think this is what they wanted for Isaac, or do you think this is like... This is the punishment for having good runs, is that occasionally you're going to get a run like this. Surely this wasn't in their design as like, oh, that was very dumb. As what they wanted out of this game. I don't believe it. I'm very, very tempted to try to use Unicorn Horn here, but I'm just hoping we get like some red heart drops if possible. Give me some spirit hearts, some fuel for our future runs. Oh, it's an actual item and it's garbage. I think we've had camo undies about 50 times on this new save file. So double Mega Fatty is no joke, just for the record. Like, we paid for the HP we took, and I'd really prefer to keep Unicorn Horn for the boss fight if possible. Just trying to get, like, black powder, but it's really hard when they are right against the edge of the screen. No bombs remaining. That's another indication that your run's going a little sour when you've used, like, 30 bombs on a single floor. Should never have stood there. That could have gone wrong. Please. Okay, here we go. So what should we do? Great question. Sadly, I'm like, it's a hard enemy to invoke black powder against. We did get it done. It's not an enormous improvement, but it helps out for about 2 seconds. Not worth trying for, I think, in hindsight. We're not going to use Unicorn Horn yet. We're going to save it for, like... I mean, if things get truly dire, a bunch of enemies on the screen is actually a really good time to use Unicorn Horn. Because we can get Demon Hearts out of... Even if we got Demon Hearts out of one of them, that's an extra period of invincibility. Not to mention, you know, the damage from the Demon Heart, which is non-zero, sadly, in our current loadout. Fair. That's on me. Yeah, Diablo 2 and all that. Okay. Good, 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 good. I mean, in the end, it's a very obvious run. You know, we had the math to make it work. It was just very, very, very tedious. Oh my god. Absolutely, I will never fight Delirium on this run. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this terrible, terrible run. If you did, click the like button. Ooh. Helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For the next watch, I will see you next time. See you.